All right. Right. Well, I know there's only a couple of us, but we'll just get started. And that means there'll be time at the end for questions if you've got any.
hmm Okay, yep. Um, okay, so the year five staff in Eagles, we have Mrs. Kendall, and the TAs are Mrs. Trainer and Carney. And then I'm the class teacher, Mrs. Rogan in Kestrels, with Mrs. Clark and Mrs. Whiteside.
All right. So the structure of the day, it will look very similar to what you had last year and the year before and the year before. We come in, the children come in, there's arithmetic on the board for them to do. And I do want to emphasize how important that is that they are in on time to be doing that. It's not just a morning job, it's important work that sets them up not only for all the maths that they're going to be doing in year five, but year six as well. 8:45, we take the register and then we start our maths lesson. That goes on until 10 o'clock, at which point we swap over to do whole class reading. 3 times a week, we have assembly. On the days that we do not have assembly, we do other things like extra sounds right sessions or trade checks
Mhm.
and marking homework. At 10:50 every day, the children get a 20-minute playtime. Ooh, someone's entered the waiting room. Let's do that. Sorry. There we go. After break, it's English. And then after English, they have lunch, followed by Sounds Right, which also incorporates a little bit of spelling and grammar. And then in the afternoon, after Sounds Right, we always have 2 foundation lessons, and then it's home time at 3:15.
Mhm. Okay, so our curriculum, again, you'll be familiar with this. Our core subjects are English, which includes our reading, writing, and then the spelling, punctuation, and grammar. Our maths and arithmetic and science. PE we have twice a week, and this term Eagles are doing
We are swimming.
swimming, and Kestrels are forest school, and then that will switch over in the spring term. You'll get letters about that. PSHE, which is personal, social, health, education. And then we've got art and DT, which we alternate. So one term we'll do art, the next we'll do DT. Music, which is we've got a new curriculum for that, which we're really excited
It's
about.
so much fun.
It's brilliant. We're doing African drums this term, so we're having lots of fun with
It's
that.
absolutely awesome.
Yeah. And then we've got geography, history, and RE, which we'll talk more about in a moment, computing and French.
I seem to be unable to make this move.
Maybe
Oh, there
it's
we go. Lovely. Opening Worlds. It's a new program. It's actually not that new anymore that we're using across Key Stage 2 to teach history, geography, and RE. It's knowledge rich and ambitious, meaning that the pupils will learn a great deal about their topics. Now, they learn about their topics through carefully planned slideshows and booklets with a focus on key vocabulary. Um, and you will get sent this so you know what they are learning, and that will come through the newsletters every week when we're doing our this week, next week.
Mhm. So in a bit more detail, this is the topics that we do throughout the year. So this term in history, we're doing the round city, Baghdad. In geography wise, California, so thirsty. And in RE, Islam 2, stories of the Prophet. So a lot of this is linked to what they've learnt previously. There's lots,
It all
it all links together
builds.
and it builds, your children have done this since year three, and we're already making links to what we've done in year
Yeah, I
three
mean, I
and
know
year
it sounds
four.
like the California one, it sounds like what does that have to do with anything? But we had a big chat about irrigation yesterday, which
Mhm.
connects directly to, the previous learning that they've done with the Romans and the
Yeah.
aqueducts
And
and
then
later on
rivers
in the turn.
before.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, it all builds. So it's great. I'm really excited about doing oceans and Norse cultures. That
Oh,
sounds
it's
fun.
really cool.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I would say is we have switched this up slightly. So our local history study will actually be coming in spring one because then it ties in really nicely with our English, and that will be looking at Tudor history.
Oh, I'm
But
excited
we are
about
covering all of these topics, and they're really fun.
that.
Like I'm really excited that we get
Yeah,
to teach all this.
me too.
All right, so Spark Days and educational visits. We actually almost had a little bit of a telling off, didn't we? Because we've
Yeah,
got too
so
many of
many.
these organized. So what's going to be happening this year? In the autumn term, and this will be happening in November, we are going to be going to the Molesley Islamic Center to be seeing Islam where it happens to learn about how Muslims pray. Then in the spring term, it's quite a heavy term for quite a short term. In January, we're going to be having some people from the Chertsey Museum come help us handle Tudor artifacts. It's always a good day. The kids get to do writing with quills and ink. Some of them will get to dress up in Tudor clothing. They get to do a little bit of Tudor dance. It's really good fun. And then on one day in March, we are going to be going into London, where we will be having a workshop at the Globe in the morning, all about Macbeth and having a tour of the Globe. And then in the afternoon, we will walk across the bridge to St. walk across the Millennium Bridge to St. Paul's Cathedral, where we will be looking at the cathedral, and that is part of our RE for the term. And then we will also be going to visit St. Mary's Church in Walton. Now, you'll all know that church because that's where we do our Christmas Carol concerts. But for that half term's RE, we're going to be comparing a local church and St. Paul's Cathedral, which is fascinating. And then in the summer term, the David Shepherd Wildlife Trust come to visit the school to talk about endangered animals. Last year, the kids were so moved by what they found out about the 8 endangered animals they support that they actually wanted to do a fundraiser to raise money for the charity. So we had a book sale. Hopefully the children this year will be equally impassioned to save the world. And then we have OAA, which will be happening in May this year, where we get to go to Thames Young Mariners and have fun on kayaks and build rafts and just generally jump into the river. Except it's not the river, it's a lake that's a man-made lake that's been kind of built off the side of the river. It's perfectly safe. No one is ever forced to do anything they're not comfortable to do. It is possibly my favorite school trip
I love
ever.
it. Yeah. Okay, so each week we are released for planning, preparation and assessment, or PPA as we call it. And this year ours is on a Thursday afternoon. So Kestrels will be taught by Mrs. Dodds for Forest School, and Eagles will be taught by Mrs. Askew when they go to Excel for their swimming, and they'll also do PSHE. And then, like we said earlier, they'll swap in the spring.
All right, homework. Please read with your child on a daily basis. It's important that your child is read with regularly, as this is the foundation of all our studies within school. We will continue to develop your child's understanding and comprehension through various reading activities in school. Now, in upper Key Stage 2, the children can read alone and sign their own reading records, but we do ask that you try to read with them at least once a week and comment in their reading records. And I do just want to tag on to that about the daily reading. You know, I've been teaching a very, very, very long time, and a question I get from a lot of parents is, how can I help my child spell better? Best way to be a better speller, keep reading. And if you haven't found a book that you like, keep looking. We've got loads in class. The library is great. The school library is great. Walter, just keep looking. I know graphic novels are very, very big with our lot at the moment. Ooh, come on in. Homework is given out, well, it says on a Wednesday, but because we mark it on a Tuesday, we do tend to then give it to them a day early.
It's an extra day to complete
it's an extra day to complete it. And then it's due in on the following Monday. The homework is going to be closely linked to areas of the curriculum that we're focusing on that half term. And if your child, if your child is struggling with any of it, please come see us. I've said to my lot, you know, please, I'm not expecting you to do it the minute it's handed out, but have a look through it, because if something is difficult, we can absolutely help you with it.
Okay, so particular expectations. So attendance, please ensure your child is at school on time each day and attends unless they're obviously unwell. It's expected that their attendance is higher than 96%. Uniform, which I know you're all well aware of. So we've got, you know, Groveland's uniform expectations, and things that are not allowed: jewellery, including earrings. We may have some children that have had theirs pierced over the summer, but they've been wearing plasters or tape over them for now until they can take them out. Any large hair accessories, dyed hair and shaved sections are not permitted in school. And then black trainers instead of school shoes, that means obviously black trainers for PEs, okay. And branded socks are not permitted. And then PE kit, please ensure that your child wears their PE on their school days, which, as we've said, are Thursday and Friday for both classes.
And please ensure it doesn't have to be the Groveland's branded shirt, but it should be a maroon shirt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so our Groveland's values: kindness, respect, friendship, uniqueness, trust, and determination. Excuse me, children identified showing our Groveland's values may have a Groveland's praise card sent to them in the post. And we also give out values tokens whenever we see these values being displayed. And we've all done a class chart or a set of promises based on these values.
Which is linked to our behaviour system. So as Mrs. Kendall said, they'll be given values tokens when they demonstrate those, and they are collected in each class. Shortly we'll have our year 6 house captains. They have the job of collecting them into the little pots near the office, and then for each of the houses your child will be in one of these houses. They know where they are, and then the winning house each term gets to have a special treat in school. Don't know what that is yet, but we'll see.
So concerns. If a child is worried about something, we encourage them to speak about it by either talking to a member of staff, talking to a parent or carer who can then relay their worries to us, or writing a note to any trusted adult who can then investigate. I've noticed that Eagles, they really enjoy post-its, and for them that seems to be a really good way. You're stressed about something, you're worried about something. Okay, here's a post-it. That seems to work. And then parents, if you have any concerns, please come speak to one of us. If it's not been resolved, then your next step would be to go talk to Miss Curtin, who is our Year 5-6 lead. And at that point, if you're still not happy, the next step would be for one of SLT, so that's Mr. Tuck, Mrs. Coleman, Mrs. Anning, one of them to deal with it.
Okay, so parent meetings, we will be having, you'll be invited to make an appointment for the next parent consultation evenings in autumn, and then we'll have another one in spring. And then any parents of children with special educational needs will also be invited to a pupil passport meeting every term to talk about their specific targets.
Oh, questions. Please feel free to ask any questions that apply to the whole year group. And if you've got any specific questions about your child, come see us, drop an email, phone the office. They will pass all that on.
Yeah.
Um,
You can either pop it in the chat
yeah,
or
I'll open up the chat here. Oh, and everyone's very quiet. Obviously, we've been talking too much and too quickly.
yeah, we have. We'll do that quite quick. No, no questions.
Any questions? Going once, going twice? All right, then we'll end the Zoom, but obviously if anything crops up, any questions or concerns, we are always here to help. All right, have a lovely day.
Thank you very much. Share. That on. And then, so let me